What is going on, everybody? We're back. We are finally back chronicling our new video game pickups, new things that we've added to the collection. And it's been like a couple months since our last one, which is perfect because we've accumulated a lot of shit. And this might just be, name of the video, the most expensive one yet, for a couple major reasons. I don't foresee us having a more expensive episode than this anytime soon. But let's just dive right into it. So we got some games, we got some PS2 games, we got some Wii games, of course we got some N64 games, but more importantly, we got some new hardware. So let's start it off with probably one of the most important pieces from today's video. And we got the RetroTank 5X Pro. Now what the hell is this? What the hell even is it? This is a video scaler, so you guys know I play a lot of old games on the channel, and I really like playing on original hardware. If I'm playing a PS2 game, ideally I'm gonna be playing that on PS2, you know, etc. N64 on an N64, all that kind of stuff. And this is the device that basically makes that all happen. Because you try plugging in your N64 to a flat screen TV. It's gonna look like trash. Try plugging it into your capture card. Good luck. So you need a scaler in order to translate that analog signal from those older consoles, convert it to a digital signal that can be put on your flat screen, that can be put through a capture card, all that kind of stuff. And for years and years, I've been using the old XRGB Mini Framemeister, and this thing has served me well. I've used it for a long time. I think I first got it, we were living at my old place when I was still using it, right? So it's been a minute, and it has, you know, it has served me very well. And if there's people who still have a Framemeister and are still using it, honestly, they probably don't even need to upgrade. The RetroTank 5X Pro, it is an upgrade. It's got really high quality scaling, but the most important thing for me is there's a couple very specific use cases, and that is a resolution switching. So a lot of older games, especially games that I play, will switch resolutions mid-game, which was not an issue back on CRT TVs, which were what these old consoles are designed for, but they're a major issue in terms of upscaling. Perfect example of this is, I think just last episode, we picked up Resident Evil 2 on the Nintendo 64. Playing this on the Framemeister, unplayable! It was completely unplayable, because you could be turning a corner and you're switching camera angles and that causes the game to switch resolution. Framemeister couldn't handle it. The thing about the RetroTank is it's got like this buffer mode that'll allow you to basically seamlessly switch resolutions on the fly. There's like a little bit of a flicker, but it's like a single frame, but it's absolutely worth it, and it actually makes these games freaking playable. And this is just one example. There's tons of examples. Another great example is like Symphony of the Night. You can't even go into your menu in that game. You can't even check the map. You can't even do a lot of shit without the game changing resolutions. So that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to upgrade to the RetroTank 5X Pro. On top of that, this is probably the absolute best scaler in terms of processing for ADI content, which I'm a huge PS2 fan. We've been collecting a lot of PS2 games, and most of the PS2 catalog is in 480i. And this has the absolute best deinterlacing, you know, I've seen in any scaler that I've tried. So RetroTank 5X Pro, it's going to be great for the channel, and hopefully some of the games that we'll play are going to look awesome.
I'm sorry, humor me.
But we didn't stop there. Hell no. It's like, look, if you're going to invest in a RetroTank 5X Pro, the best consumer scaler on the market, you need to have good-ass cables. So we picked up a couple HD Retrovision cables. I got the PS2 one, which I was using like a component cable for PS2, but it was like some generic cable that I don't even know where I got it from. When it comes to analog video, having good quality cables is super important. And then We also got the component cable for Genesis that also has like an adapter that allows you to use it for Saturn. And Sega Saturn is another major use case for me because I love the Saturn, and it's got amazing RGB picture quality that looks incredible with these cables and with the with the RetroTank 5X Pro. And again, the Saturn is another console that switches resolutions all the time. That's got a lot of games that does that. So I was testing a bunch of stuff. So many of these games, they look so good. Just look at some of this footage that I'm showing you guys here. I spent so long just capturing a bunch of different games, testing a bunch of different games, and I was just in awe. Such a fucking nerd, dude. I was just in awe at how good some of these games look. And it was awesome. I can't wait to play some of that shit on the channel. But okay, I know not everyone's gonna find that stuff interesting, but I love that kind of shit. And for content creators and for people who record and want really good picture quality out of their consoles, out of their original hardware, this shit is important. But moving on to some goddamn games. Let's start off with some N64 games. Okay, again, the N64 collection. 6 months ago, that shelf was barren. There was nothing on there for the N64. But we've amassed a pretty decent collection. Like, a lot of the games that you want to have, we kind of have at this point. But we are still filling some holes, as always. We got Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. This is a game that actually really holds up gameplay-wise. The N64 version, it's a really charming version, not the best version of the game, right? Dreamcast version is amazing, but there's something I like about the N64 one. Also, this game, dude, like $10, which for a good N64 game, absolutely worth it. Still holds up, still fun to play. Really smooth. It's got really smooth feeling gameplay. Feels really fast. It's solid, dude. One of the best, honestly, one of the better Star Wars games on the N64. Might just be my favorite Star Wars N64 game. Moving on. Remember how I was saying that every single episode we're adding a Midway game on the N64? At least one? Today we got two. First, very important title to add to the collection. We got Cruisin USA. Absolutely classic. I think this was like a launch window N64 game. This is definitely one of the earlier titles that I remember playing. I'm getting so nostalgic, like playing this one and capturing the footage for this one. And every cruising game has like its own theme song. And this one is an absolute classic that I like still remember to this day. It's one of those things that just never has left me. It's so funny. And so now there's just one cruising game left that we need on the N64. Cruising Exotica, which also happens to be the hardest one to find, but we'll get it eventually. Next. Now, I don't love sports games, but I love arcadey sports games. And Midway made some super fun arcadey-ass sports games, and this is NFL Blitz. Absolutely ridiculous game. It's so silly, it's so over the top. You're throwing the football, it's like catch it on fire. All of the dudes are ridiculously jacked. It's such a funny game. If you go and play like Madden, I could never get into the Madden series because I thought it was just way too slow, and I don't like football enough to play Madden. But NFL Blitz, I'll play some fucking NFL Blitz. Kidding me? This game is fun as hell. It's so fast-paced. It's an absolute great game that is also aged very, very well. Still fun to play. Goddamn. Okay, that's it for the N64 games. Let's go, let's move on. Let's go to some Wii games. We got 3 Wii games we're adding to the collection. This is an essential game. In my opinion, this is an essential game because I absolutely love this series. That is Wariowear Smooth Moves. And this was actually one of the first Wii games that I owned. believe it or not. But somewhere along the line, I either lost or sold or gave away my copy. Who the fuck knows? So I had to reacquire it because, again, this is, especially for the Wii, I feel like the Wariowear series is perfectly at home on the Wii because the Wii is just such a crazy party console. And I found this one the funniest out of all of the Wariowear games. My favorite, honestly, one of my favorite parts of this game is like the tutorial sections where you're learning about the different forms on like how to play the games. I just thought it was hilarious for some reason. Such a good game, dude.
Like riding a bicycle, perfecting this dance requires grace, steadiness, and tight shorts.
Moving on. Listen, there's not a whole lot of Wii horror games, and I wanted to kind of make it a point to collect them all. We got Obscure, The Aftermath. You know what's really funny? This is a PS2 and like OG Xbox game. For some fucking reason, the PS2 version of this game is crazy expensive. It's like hundreds of dollars. The Wii version, 20 bucks. So I picked it up, and we actually did play this game on the channel, I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago. Jesus Christ, I'd have to like dig through the archives to find that playthrough. But I remember it actually not being that bad. It's really like, it's kind of like a cheesy, kind of like B horror movie. It's like a teen horror movie in a video game. That's essentially what it is. It takes place at a university. I remember the PS2 version had like a bunch of this like licensed music, right? Because it was all about that teenage angst. And I think this version cuts all of that out because, you know, licensing. Anyways, Obscure, The Aftermath. Next up, we got, this is a Capcom game. This is not one of their strongest titles. This is Spyborgs, a Wii exclusive action game published by Capcom. And this game is weird, man. There's like, I was like playing it, capturing some footage, and it's just like, there's a lot of good stuff here, but there's a lot of bullshit holding it back. First of all, the game is so unbalanced. Even the very first stage, bizarrely difficult. Why is it so hard? And not in like a, oh, you just gotta get good kind of hard. There's just cheap bullshit, dude. Shoutouts to Matt McMuscles on YouTube. He's got a series called What Happened, where he describes like troubled development in the games industry and stuff like that. He has an entire episode dedicated to Spyborgs. And apparently the version of the game that got published and printed onto the discs wasn't the final build, and it was like an incorrect build that didn't have the proper difficulty balancing patched in. So the game is actually way too hard, not by design, because they fucked up and printed the wrong one. It's ridiculous. But other than that, it's a co-op action game. Like, it's got some good production value in there. It's got some fun gameplay, but it's just kind of hard, and it's a little generic. But that is Spyborgs on the Wii. Again, Capcom's one of my favorite devs, so I wanted to pick this one up. And it's also one of those like bizarre games that, I don't know, it's like get it while it's cheap, because this game did not sell very well, and it never left the Wii, so I was able to pick it up for like 15 bucks. So for me, that was like a no-brainer. Okay, moving on. We got some PS2 games. We got 6 PS2 games we're adding to the collection. The new Gran Turismo just came out, and you know, people are shitting all over the DRM in that game, and it's like always online and bullshit like that. And it's like, yeah, fuck that shit. We had to go pick up Gran Turismo 4, a game that still holds up extremely well and is hands down one of the PS2's best looking games. It also is one of the PS2 games that can go all the way up to 1080i, which is bizarre. Gran Turismo 4, pretty timeless, has aged very, very well. Still a very, very good game. Super cheap to pick up because this game sold like millions of copies. Next, we got PS2 survival horror game. It's what everyone wants to see. For some reason, the PS2 survival horror games, crazy expensive, some of them. Not this one. This is Extermination. Extermination. I had never even heard of this game, and then I just saw it at my local game shop. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And it was really cheap, so I had to pick it up. It kind of reminds me of Metal Gear in like terms of how it plays and some of the art direction and stuff like that, but with like survival horror kind of injected in there with some, you know, bioweapons and zombies and mutated horse shit. Kind of cool. Definitely one we're gonna play on the channel at some point. Never even heard of it, dude. That is Extermination. Next, we got Motorstorm, Arctic Edge. I fucking love the Motorstorm series. Such a slept-on series, dude. Very underrated. And originally it started off on the PS3, but they did release a goddamn PS2 game. This was a late-ass PS2 game. It was actually a port of a PSP game. It's Motorstorm, Arctic Edge. Still fun to play. Super cheap. I picked up for like 10 bucks. You know, I still prefer the PS3 games over this one, but this one is all in the Arctic, which is kind of cool. So, figure I may as well pick it up. Next. Oof. Dude, I booted this one up, captured some footage, and was just fucking hit by this wave of nostalgia because I played the ever-loving shit of this game as a kid. That is Need for Speed Underground. Holy shit. This is hands down my favorite PS2 generation racing game in terms of like, you know, racing games that use like real cars and shit like that. And this is even my favorite Need for Speed game. This game has aged very well. It's still fun to play. I feel like this game also like kicked off a huge trend of like street racing games and like, you know, Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, all that kind of shit. This was like at the peak of all of that. And Need for Speed Underground, this game was the shit back in the day. Modifying your car and all that stuff, it was so fun, dude. Such a great game. Next, we got 2 more PS2 games, guys. 2 more! This one I picked up because I love the series. And look at this fucking box art, dude. How sick is that shit? This is Neo Contra for the PlayStation 2. One of 2 PS2 Contra games. The other one being Shattered Soldier, which I need to pick up. But this was the second one, I believe. I think Shattered Soldier came first, then Neo Contra. This is like an isometric, kind of like top-down Contra game. And it's just ridiculous. It's over the top. It's absolutely batshit crazy. Some of the enemy designs are all like crazy fucked up. Mutated babies and all this bullshit. It's also crazy hard, and it's very fun. I think Shattered Soldier is even harder than this one. Still, this is another one that I wanted to pick up because I could see this one getting kind of pricey later on. And I was able to get it for like 35 bucks. So to me, that was a deal. Easy sell. And just capturing some footage and playing the first couple levels. Dude, still so fun. This is like one of those games. Even all the other Contra games, they really hold up. That's Neo Contra, everybody. Gotta get Shattered Soldier next. Last PS2 game. Again, as I was saying, survival horror. For some reason, the PS2 survival horror games are very, very like sought after. Games like fucking Haunting Ground and Rule of Rose and Quan and all that kind of shit. It is crazy. This one's not quite there, but I still paid a good 80 bucks for this game. And that is Ghost Hunter for the PS2. God damn. And I want to play through this one on the channel sooner rather than later. I did just play like the first 30 minutes or so. It's kind of like Ghostbusters, but like with a completely different tone. And this is like a late PS2 game as well. This is like a 2000, I want to say 2004, maybe 2005 PS2 game that has kind of just gone under the radar for a very long time. It looks amazing. It looks really, really good for a PS2 game. Still plays very well. And this will be one of the next games we play on the channel in terms of like, you know, in terms of horror games. Yeah, this will be one of the next ones we play. Looking forward to it. Okay, everybody. That's it in terms of the games. In terms of the new game pickups, that is it. Now, I know I was saying earlier, right? I was saying this is like one of my most expensive episodes I've ever done. And the RetroTank, a big part of that, right? This is like a $400 device. And my Canadian goddamn rupees. That shit was like $400. Jesus. I think it's like $2.99 USD. Then the Retrovision cables. Those are not cheap either. But what's really driving up the price, the cost of this episode is this final piece I'm gonna whip out right now. And like, look, there's been a GPU shortage basically since COVID hit, right? And I don't see it. It's still bad, but GPUs are now, just now, starting to get reasonable. And so we picked up a new GPU that I've needed for a very, very long time. This is an RTX 3070 Ti. God damn. Now, the 3070 Ti is funny. If you go and look at reviews for it on YouTube, they're almost all negative, right? But not because of the card's performance, but because of the value proposition. Because it's like, the MSRP is like $100 more expensive than the 3070, but the performance is only like 5% better. So it's like, you're paying $100 more for an extra 5% performance. But beyond that, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if you can get one for MSRP, you should just jump on it. So I've been using this for about a week or so now, and it has fucking blown me away. And this is gonna be really important. And I've been using a 1070 for like 6 years, dude, and it was time to upgrade. And this will basically help with all facets of the channel in terms of streaming, capturing video, rendering videos, editing, all that kind of stuff, and of course gaming. This absolutely will make our lives 100 times easier. God damn, what a chunky boy. This thing is fucking massive, dude. And I'm pretty happy I was able to pick it up for MSRP as well. But anyways, you guys, that's it. We do have more stuff on the way, so hopefully it won't be another 2 months until our next episode. But for this one, that's all she wrote, everybody. But thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about our new pickups. And we'll be back with more very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Peace.